My name is Natasha Medina. I'm currently a junior here at CSUN and my major is psychology. And I am also a dependent. My dad served in the Marine Corps and so does my little brother. And on top of that, I also work at the VRC as a clerical assistant. What it means to be a dependent is just to be supportive. I think as a dependent, that is our main role. We just have to support the people, the military men and women who go out there and understand that they have a job to do. And it sucks that they have to, be so far away, but you kind of just have to roll with the punches and just kind of make the best of what you can. We can help dependents figure out how to transfer the benefits from the active military person to the dependent, and also just general information about the resources here at CSUN. The Veterans Resource Center is open to all students, not just veterans. So, if you need to come in to charge your laptop or just charge your phone, or you need a place to stay between breaks because it's really hot outside, just stop by and, sit, eat, talk to people, get to meet people. And, we do have a TV, so we can play movies, you can watch whatever you want, and there are board games, so there's a lot to do, and it's just not for veterans. So we want people to come in and say hello.
My name is Tower J. Hazard. I am a graduating senior studying finance at Cal State University, Northridge. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 1998 to 2006. I currently work as a peer mentor at the Veterans Resource Center. I came to a place in my career where I would either have to stay for an additional X amount of years to reap any benefit, or I could get out and pursue my education and do, or open other doors of opportunity, I think. I didn't want to be limited in my selection of what I chose to do with my life. So the more one is educated, obviously, the more choices one has to make. So the myth I gather from other students is that veterans are typically crazy, poor, and uneducated. Excuse me, uneducated. And that really it's quite the opposite, actually. Although, yes, there's a huge recruitment push in lower income areas, sometimes those folks have a tendency to do things to join the military to change one's circumstance, not necessarily because they have no other option. But I think, it says a lot about one's makeup too to join the military. I mean, you have to pass a litany of tests, whether that be, from the ASVAB, and then once you make it into your branch of service, there's continual testing, we'll say job placement testing, or once you've got your job, there's testing to maintain a certain certification. All these things require really intelligent people. The crazy part, some folks say, yeah, well, you got to be a little crazy to want to serve your country. That stigma is something that came maybe post, or pre and during the Vietnam era, when there were a lot of, when sex, drugs, and rock and roll was sort of the way of life. And it wasn't necessarily the veterans that were crazy, but may have been the influence of the subculture, the drug culture, if you will, that made things crazy. So the idea, again, of a veteran being crazy is just, that's at best asinine. We, at the VRC Veterans Resource Center, although it is heavily titled the Veterans Resource Center, we are CSUN, or Cal State University Northridge, resource. So that means it's open to all university students and staff and faculty. They may come, I tell students all the time, my fellow classmates, they say, well, why would we want to come there? Well, number one, it's a lounge. There's a place to just kind of hang out and talk. A lot of my buddies come through and they are not veterans, nor are they dependents. Second, I think the resource there that for non-veteran or dependent status students would be it's a learning experience. Like, wow, maybe I can then now interact, or CSUN students now have the opportunity to interact with people that have experienced different things, and maybe gain some knowledge or secondhand experience through their experience, through the veterans' experience, and vice versa. I think there's so much, someone like myself coming back from being in the Marines for 8 years, there's so much I've learned from my classmates, how to interact with people. There's a military culture and there's a civilian culture, and then there's a university culture, how to operate within the university culture. It's just a good sort of bridge building place to be, in terms of students and veterans.
My name's Ian Smith. I'm a senior studying music education. My instrument is cello. I work for the USU as a veteran peer mentor for the Veteran Resource Center. I served in the Marine Corps for 4.5 years as an infantryman, and I'm also a father of 2 small children and a husband. Yeah, I began with the Veteran Resource Center actually before it even existed. So last semester, I was one of the first veteran peer mentors to start this program, and was excited to help us get to where we've been at, or where we've come today. Well, the other on-campus thing that I do, I'm also the Apple campus rep. So I work for Apple on campus, so I enjoy doing that. Off campus, I also work with the Vet Center here at Sepulveda, and I help them out in their efforts to recruit and service our veterans in the community. I've also worked for a number of other nonprofits around the veteran sector. Well, actually, when I first got out, I went straight into work. I had to get a job to support my family, and it wasn't until the new post 9/11 GI Bill was updated or brought out that I actually seized the opportunity to go back to school. So it was a few years later, after having worked for a while, that I saw finishing my education as being the thing to do. Well, the Veteran Resource Center is a part of the USU, and the USU's mission is community. And therefore, the VRC is about community, and it's not just for veterans. And that's why we've made the Veteran Resource Center a welcoming place for folks that are not veterans to come in and just hang out, or maybe meet with a veteran or dependent if they have questions, if they're curious, if they want to help out, there's plenty of volunteer opportunities. And so we've made it a very welcoming and friendly place for all walks of life, be it veteran, dependent, or none.
My name is Montaigne Stotts-Long, and I am the coordinator of the Veterans Resource Center at California State University, Northridge. In addition, I am a military dependent. My first husband, Chris, was in the Army and was killed in Afghanistan in his line of duty. And I am actually remarried to another veteran of the Marine Corps. The Veterans Resource Center provides resources and services to student veterans and their dependents. We provide outreach and awareness, and we're really here to assist veterans as they transition from either the military or another school into CSUN. As someone who works in higher education with veterans, I really think that there's this stigma that every single veteran that comes back to college after serving has post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. To me, it's a label that seems to get assigned to all veterans, regardless of if they served in combat or if they had a desk job in the military. So I think one thing that our center can do is really help dispel that myth. Post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD can happen to anyone who's either witnessed or been part of a traumatic event. So even a student who's been in a car accident can suffer from PTSD after that incident. And so if others are aware that this isn't strictly a veteran diagnosis, I think it helps out our population. So the Department of Veteran Affairs offers what's called the post 9/11 GI Bill, which is a VA educational benefit
that allows this current era, or this current generation of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans to attend college. They have their tuition and fees paid for, so it really pushes many students who are seeking a career or an education path after their service to attend college. And that's one of the reasons why we see so many student veterans going back to school within the past few years.
My name is David Guzman. I'm a junior here at CSUN as business management major. I currently am a student assistant at the Veterans Resource Center, and I served in the United States Marine Corps. Well, I've been out in the labor function a lot, and because I was communications and did deal with the infantry units a lot, I just wanted to do something that's kind of more relaxing and to help people. I want to focus on human resources management as much as I can, and I figured, I did a few tests. I kept always landing on some type of business related stuff, so I figured, what, if it keeps telling me that that's what my strengths are and that's what I like, then why don't I do it? Well, I do a lot of racing. I do rally crossing with my own car, which is pretty fun and messy. I also go to the range a lot. Goes with my background, obviously. And just in general, hiking, running, camping, everything. So I'm an all-out guy, so I do everything. I don't care.
My name is Claudio Colorescu. I'm a graduate student. I'm getting a second bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I am currently the supervisor at the Veterans Resource Center on campus, and I was in the United States Air Force. Well, when I'm not studying or doing homework, I really enjoy video editing, basically anything creative. I also am a webmaster, so I enjoy working on websites, creating websites, and helping other people with websites. After I got out of the Air Force, I started working full-time as an aircraft mechanic, and I realized that I was capable of more, which I loved that job, but it didn't give me the freedom to contribute my ideas. So I decided to come back to school, get my second bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, where I still want to stay in the aerospace industry, but I want to have a say and maybe help. In addition to just turning wrenches, I would love to help design or create the next big thing. Well, one misconception I commonly hear is the idea that war equals combat. When a serviceman or woman is serving in the military during war and they're deployed to a combat zone, most of them are actually in support roles. Hollywood is notorious for showing scenes such as Maverick flying his F-14 around, but what they never show is all the tedious maintenance that goes behind getting that plane up in the air and allowing the pilots to fly around. And I just completely messed that up. But
My name is Natasha Medina.
My name is Tower J. Hazard.
My name's Ian Smith.
My name is Montaigne Stotts Long.
My name is David Guzman.
my name is Claudio Colorescu, and I'm beyond the label.